thank you for joining us today for a look at the Infor Analytics platform for CloudSuite Distribution. My name is Brandon Stacken, and during today's webinar, we'll be giving you a high-level look into what the included CloudSuite Distribution Analytics platform all entails and how it can be used to drive effective decision-making for the future. So just as a high-level introduction, Infor Analytics, also known as Burst, is what we refer to as Infor's best-in-breed analytics and reporting tool set that fits in seamlessly with our core ERP systems, CloudSuite Distribution obviously being one of those. So this is an Infor-owned application, and as you can see here, it's something that's a very important part of Infor's strategy moving forward. So with the tool set for a standard CloudSuite Distribution employment, you'll have the ability to take advantage of the 80 different pre-configured dashboards and over 160 different reports that we've created specifically for our distribution customers, which we'll be taking a look at today. This tool set also includes the ability to create your own custom reports and dashboards or extend the pre-built content to fit your organization's specific needs. So by no means are you limited to what you'll be seeing today or have the ability to take this tool set and really make it your own. Over the course of the presentation today, you're going to see a number of different topics. First, we'll focus on the end user experience when using Infor Analytics to see how an end user can actually interact with the tool set to provide more self-service and eventually drive more efficient decision-making for the future. After that, we'll look at this from a simplistic build process of creating your own custom dashboards or reports to really satisfy your organization's unique needs. We can then kind of switch gears and hop over to the pre-built dashboards and reports that you can leverage with CloudSuite Distribution out of the box for a great starting point and a quicker time to value for reporting. And then to wrap things up, we can take a look at some of the mobile capabilities available for having quick and easy visibility into your analytics while you might be out on the go. So to kick the demonstration off, I always like to start just by walking through a very simple scenario just to kind of show you some of the end user capabilities that Infor Analytics provides out of the box that really help drive efficient decision making for the future. So I've just logged into my version of Infor Analytics, and as I do so, I'm presented with what we call a dashboard. So maybe in this case, I'm looking at my company analysis, so I could be an executive within the organization. Here on the left-hand side, I can see different metrics that I like to consume on a day-to-day basis. On the right, I can see different reports that I like to look at, such as branch analysis, budget versus cost, profit versus margin. But one of the things that kind of sticks out to me here is notice that revenue is increased compared to last year, which is great. Cost of goods sold is also increased, which typically if revenue is going to increase, so will cost of goods. But my margin percentage is down. So as an end user, I'm thinking to myself, well, what happened during the course of a year to cause my margin percentage to act like that? And typically, what I have to do is reach out to IT and they run reports for me, or I spend a bunch of my day digging in the core ERP system, trying to figure out who did what, where, and when. But where this tool set really prides itself is end user self-service and allowing me as the end user to go out and do some of that data discovery on my own. So for example here, as I'm looking at this profit versus margin analysis report, notice that in this month of September, my margin percentage dips below the average. So again, as an end user, I'm wondering what happened during that month of September to cause my margin percentage to act like that. So one of the things I can simply do here is just highlight an area of a report that I want to hone in on. And based on what I highlight, notice in the upper left-hand corner, it goes out and it applies a filter. And it didn't just filter that singular report, it actually filtered the entire dashboard. So all the different metrics, all the different reports you see on the screen here have now been filtered to just that time frame of September, which gives me more visibility into things like my branch analysis report, where I can start to see that we have a potential issue with the margin percentage at our Northeast branch during that month of September. So at this time, I could go ahead and give that branch manager a call and see what's taking place, or I could take it a step further, drill into that branch, which takes me in my branch analysis dashboard. Across the top, you can see it brought over the filters from the previous page. So we're looking at this branch's performance in the month of September. I can see their overall revenue, profitability, margin percentage. Here I can see maybe different branch reports that I like to take a look at. And again, more visibility into a potential issue with my margin percentage and a particular sales rep. And if I want to see which customers that sales reps has been working with, I can drill right in to now see that customer breakdown detail. And again, an issue when this sales rep is working with a particular customer commercial supply. Now maybe I want to start taking a look at some of the transactional detail behind this information. So if I drill into that margin percentage, now I can start to see any of the transactions that that sales rep created at that branch during that month of September. Maybe I just want to see any of the transactions that they were working with that particular customer on. And as I filter the dashboard, I can start to see there was one order where they overrode price, they gave a 20% discount, and due to that discount, they gave away all of our potential profit. Now, I might want to see if that was just a one-time basis or if that's happening at this branch quite a bit altogether. So maybe I just want to open things up and say, show me all price overrides that have taken place at that branch. And there's multiple reps that have been overriding pricing. And because of that, I can see the lost profit. So if I wouldn't have given those discounts, I actually would have been at a 23% margin. If because of those discounts, I was actually at a 10% margin on those orders. And now I can start to make action out of insight. And maybe I want to take this report and I want to export it, or I want to create a notification and email it to the branch manager, letting them know that we need to put better price controls in place so that these price overrides don't take place as much in the future. Or at least we have some margin controls set around this to limit the amount of price overrides that are taking place. So thanks to this tool set, not only am I aware of a potential issue with my margin percentage, but I know exactly what orders are affecting it. I know which customers are affecting it, the sales reps within our organizations that are playing into that, the branch where it took place at, as well as the time frame that it all took place in, without having to reach out to IT to have them run a bunch of reports for me, or without having to spend a bunch of my day digging within the core ERP system, trying to figure out who did what, where, and when. So that's just kind of the simple day in the life scenario that I like to walk customers through, just to show you some of the end user capabilities that this tool set has to provide. Now, a couple of things that I want to point out that make this such a nice self-service tool set are, number one, its filtering capabilities, and number two, its drilling capabilities and different types of drill paths that you can create to enable easier access to deeper information behind the scenes. So the first thing I want to point out are the filtering options. And you saw me filter information in a number of different ways. The first way you saw is just by highlighting information on the screen. So I can simply just highlight an area of a report, and depending on what I highlight, it goes out there and it applies that filter to the entire dashboard. Or in my case, maybe I just want to take a look at that month of September. Again, it filters it down depending on what I highlight. You also saw things like drill through capabilities to take me into the next layer of detailed information. So for example, if I drill into, or I want to drill through into this branch information, here I can go ahead and click the branch name and it drills me through into a completely separate dashboard where I can now look at branch analysis information, but carries the filters over from the previous page and what I've selected. So here I can see that branch information. You also saw things like what we call drill mapping, where it doesn't drill you through into a separate report or dashboard, but it actually extends the existing report and adds additional columns of information to what I'm looking at here. So if I drill into the sales rep's name, it actually adds another column so I can start to see the different customers that that sales rep has been working with. Or on this other page, you actually saw things like embedded filters. So another way users can actually easily come out here and filter the way the information shows up on the screen. So maybe I want to look at this information not just for that rep, and I want to see all price overrides that didn't just take place at this location in September, but maybe show me all price overrides that took place at this branch for an entire year. And as I remove that filter, now I can start to see this company or this particular branch has lost close to $500,000 or $500,000 worth of profit just due to all these price overrides. Or if I have the security, maybe I want to remove the branch filter so I can see all price overrides that have taken place at the entire company, including all 3 branches. And now I've lost close to $1.5 million in price overrides. So I can really just use filters to manipulate the way these different screens and these different reports and metrics show up on the different screens here. Now, a couple other things I want to point out here as well from an end user standpoint and user experience capability is you're noticing a lot of visualizations. In some cases, visualizations are great. So in this budget versus cost report, I can easily see, thanks to conditional styling, in what time periods my budget has outweighed my costs. But I might be someone that prefers, or depending on the type of report, to view this in maybe a list table or a crosstab format. So I can easily go ahead and select from different views to have the system push that information into a more consumable type of view. Or maybe I want to go and do things like export this detail. So I have the ability with the right securities to push this out to PDF, to PowerPoint format, or dump it into Excel so I can manipulate it and work within it in an Excel format. Or the last thing I can do here is create a notification or subscribe to reports where I can go out, type in somebody's email address, leave them a nice little message, even set this on the repeat to repeat daily, weekly, monthly. What times and days does it generate, and what format will the user receive that report in? And the nice part about this tool set, you don't actually need a license to be able to receive a report. So if you want to push notifications or reports out to your customers or to your suppliers, you can absolutely do that. So from an end user standpoint and user experience, that's really what the Burst platform has to offer in terms of allowing your users to effectively work with these dashboards and quickly gain insight into information that might need their attention. So now that we've taken a look at this tool set from an end user perspective and how they can interact with the information to get what they need to be able to make and take insight and convert it into action, let's go ahead and take a look at what it looks like to actually build some of this content. Because as we've talked about, we do have a lot of pre-configured content that comes out of the box, reports and dashboards that you can leverage. But in some cases, you are going to want to create your own custom dashboards or your own custom reports from scratch as well. So I want to show you what that simple build process looks like and the type of experience you might need to interact with the tool set like this. So let's go ahead here, and I'm just actually going to create a dashboard from scratch. And when I do that, it's going to give me a whole blank slate to work with here. And I'm just going to call this test dashboard. And as I give that dashboard a name, I'm going to come up to these little insert options, which gives me a whole bunch of different capabilities to work with. Now, the easiest thing to do when creating a new dashboard is go out there and grab an existing report that's already out in the report library or catalog. So it could be content or a report that came with our pre-built content, or it could be something that somebody within your organization created that you really liked and wanted to add to your dashboard. So for example, here I can click existing report. It takes me out into the report catalog where I have access to different reports, but can put security around these based on who can and can't access different reports within this catalog. So in my case, I want to go ahead, maybe add a few of these reports to my dashboard, maybe the branch analysis, the budget versus cost, and maybe I want to add this profit versus margin analysis report. Notice down below, I can preview the reports before I add them to my dashboard. And as I go ahead and click done, it drops all three of those reports to the dashboard in a single instance. So I can just kind of drag and drop these reports wherever I think they fit best. If I need to, I can also do things like resize these to give me a little bit more space to add additional content to the dashboard as well. So going out here, adding existing reports, very simplistic to do as long as you have the right securities. I can also come out here and do things like add key performance indicators to the dashboard. So chances are there's metrics that you look at on a daily basis to gauge the health of your business against strategic goals that you've set. So we actually have the ability, we have a bunch of key performance indicators that we've done calculations for out of the box, which you'll see later on today in the presentation, or you can create your own custom calculations from scratch, which we'll talk to as well. But for example, maybe I want to go out here and I just want to type in something like tote, and I want to find my company's total revenue so I can see that as a measurement. So here I typed in tote and it went out and found any measurements with the word tote associated with. So we have total cost, total discount, total profit, and total revenue. If I select that measurement, it pulls it right into my screen. Here I might want to go out and make this look pretty. Maybe I want to add a currency symbol, and because it's a larger number, we could even do things like divide it by the millions. And then if I go ahead and hit save, it's going to drop that metric right onto the screen for me. So anytime I come to this dashboard, I'll have the ability to see where we're at in terms of total revenue, or if I filter the dashboard, that metric will filter based on the parameters that I have set against that filter. So quick and easy access to those key performance indicators that I might like to look at on a day-to-day basis. And then the last thing I'm going to do here is maybe add an embedded filter. So make it really easy for users to come out here and filter these dashboards just by selecting different ranges and options. So here I can actually use any filter that I have within the core ERP system. Basically any field within the core transactional system of CloudSuite Distribution can be used as a filter in these dashboards. In my example, I could create a filter for branch, for customer, for different time series, for sales rep. So in my case, maybe I'll select branch, select what reports I want that filter to apply to. And as I hit done, it loads in the different measurements, or in this case, the attributes that come from that filter. So now if a user was visiting this homepage, or excuse me, this dashboard, they'd have the ability to go out and select a branch, and based on the branch they select, they'd be able to see branch analysis, budget versus cost, total revenue, and profit versus margin analysis for the branch that they've selected. So very simple for them to manipulate the way these dashboards show up just using those embedded filters. Now there are a lot of other things that we could do with this homepage as well. We could add images, we could add colors to the backgrounds, we could even add HTML objects to the dashboard as well, or web pages for information that could be coming from an external source. But what I'm trying to portray here is it's a very easy setup process. No coding experience needed. I like to say if you can build a PowerPoint, you can build one of these burst dashboards, and it's something that we could turn over, and I'm very confident that people watching this presentation would have the ability to learn how to do this within 10, 15 minutes of getting their hands on the tool set. So very easy to do, create your own custom dashboards outside of what we've already delivered pre-built out of the box. Now, the last thing I want to do here before we transition and take a look at some of that pre-built content that you can leverage out of the box with CloudSuite Distribution is I want to show you real quickly what it looks like to actually build a report from scratch as well. Because not only can you create your own dashboards, but you also have the ability to create your own custom report. So if I go up to, again, my insert option, I also have the option to create a new report from scratch. And if I click that, it actually takes me into what we call our visualizer, which is our ability to build reports from scratch with data that's coming from the core transactional system. So majority, if not all, of the fields that are within CloudSuite Distribution are available to be reported against with this application out of the box. So with our pre-built data model, you can actually come out here and start leveraging this tool set to create your own custom reports as you see fit. But just as an example, I'm going to go out here. Let's create a simple report. So I jumped into my measurements, and let's say I want to add one of these measurements to the report. For example, maybe I want to add total revenue. Couple of different ways I can bring that into the report. One of the ways is I can just simply drag it and drop it into that white space. And here you can see my company's total revenue, like we saw a little bit earlier, a little over $25 million in this demo database. From there, maybe I also want to add another measurement to the report, maybe total cost. I don't have to drag and drop. I can just click once and it'll bring total cost into that report as well. Now, when it comes to creating our own custom calculations, we have a tool set here which is called the BQual editor, where you can go out and define and create your own custom calculations from scratch. So based on our current report, maybe I want to calculate something like profit. And I can also come out here and tell the system, well, how do I want it to calculate profit? I want it to take my total revenue. I want it to minus my total cost. And that's going to give us our profit calculation. And as you noticed, that's just a type ahead type capability where it goes out and tries to find the data elements based on the information that I give it. I also have the ability to make these calculations or the expressions global, meaning I can save these within the system so that next time I want to add the profit calculation to a report, I don't have to come through here and define this definition of profit each time I want to add it to an individual report. So we do have the ability to make those global. And as I go ahead and hit done, it goes through and does the calculation, and here I can see my company's profitability. Now, it does look a little bit different because notice we have multiple y-axes on the left-hand side. So if I need to, I can move those from left to right, or in my case, I'll merge them and it looks a little bit more like what we'd expect. Now with this tool set, there are tons of different visualizations that you can utilize. There's column charts, bar charts, pie charts. There's geo-mapping capability if you want to report based on region, based on zip code, whatever it might be. We also have the ability to just push this into a simple crosstab, or if I prefer to see it, I can see it in that table format as well. So different visualizations depending on who the user is that's consuming the report and what their primary option is or their preference is, or ability to put it in a visualization if that makes most sense as well. The other nice thing from a report creation standpoint that can really simplify report creation is this little magnifying glass in the upper left-hand corner. So out of the box with our pre-built model, you'll actually have over 4,000 data elements, so measurements and attributes that you can report against with CloudSuite Distribution out of the box. But instead of having to sift through all those data elements, one of the things I can also do is use this search engine to be able to go out and search for those data elements as well. So if I type in the word customer, it goes out and it finds things like customer ID and customer name. The more granular I get, it brings the top results to the top of that list. So here I go ahead and select customer name, and it breaks out those different measurements by the customers that it belongs to. Then with editing reporting tool, like you would expect, I have the ability to do things like sort on information. So if I want to sort based on total revenue, it's just drag and drop functionality to drop it in that sort bucket, tell the system to maybe put it in descending sequence. I can also filter this information. So maybe I just want to see this for a couple of different customers. So I can drag and drop customer name into the filter bucket and maybe select a couple of customer accounts that I want to either see this for or not see this report for, and it applies that filter to that specific report. The other thing that we can really do here that's really nice with this tool set is that drill mapping capability that we talked about earlier. So having the ability to not have to create a drill through to a separate report or dashboard, but able to drill through into the next layer of detail with report level drilling. So for example, here I can add a drill path and I can tell the system exactly what I want to drill into and where I want it to take me from there. So in my case, I want to drill into maybe customer name. From customer name, I want to be able to drill into the sales reps that are going ahead and working with those customers. And then from the sales rep, maybe I want to see the product categories that they've been selling to those particular customers. And if that's where I want to end it, I can go ahead and hit done. The system creates those drill paths for me. And if I click into a customer name, I can now see the different sales reps that have been working with that customer. If I click into one of the sales reps, I can now see the different product categories they've been selling to that specific customer. So quick and easy ways to create drill mapping, which can be saved in the system so that anytime I see customer name on a report, I can have that drill mapping capability to get to that next layer of detail. Now, of course, with any of this, I can go ahead and I can do things like dump this into different formats. So if I need to print it, I definitely have the ability to print this or save it as a CSV file. Or if I need to export it, I can absolutely do that from here as well. Or I do have the ability to save it, insert it into the report catalog, or save it, insert it into my dashboard. But when it comes to this report creation process, we've really simplified it by using a modern design capability. We can make it easy to use because if you notice, the different data elements are here and are all in an easy to read format, so you don't have to worry about the cryptic IDs of our database. So that way even a first-time user can get in here and build a report from scratch and know exactly what data elements they're adding to the report. And then we can even simplify report creation by expediting the time it takes you to create reports by giving you the search capabilities to sift through those 4,000 plus data elements that are coming from our core transactional system. So report creation, very simple to do with the analytics tool set out of the box. So with that said, let's go ahead and let's switch gears now more into my multi-tenant version of CloudSuite Distribution and take a look at some of the pre-built content that's available with the CloudSuite out of the box. So I have just logged into my multi-tenant version of CloudSuite Distribution, and as you can see, I'm being presented with what we call a home page. And probably the first thing your eyes are drawn to as I log into the application is the reports and metrics across the top of the screen. So any of the content that we create, whether it comes pre-built with our pre-built content, or if it's something that you create custom, a dashboard or report within our analytics component, you can dock at the user's role-based homepage. So they have quick and easy visibility into any reports or metrics that they like to look at on a day-to-day basis. Now, if they actually want to get into the analytics platform, they can access that right through the app switcher here within CloudSuite Distribution. And by clicking that, it takes them right into, with single sign-on capabilities, the analytics application. As we talked about, we have over 80 different dashboards, over 160 different reports that can be leveraged out of the box with this tool set. So it really gives our customers a great starting place instead of having to start with creating their own content from scratch. And as of today, you can see we have content for sales, purchasing, inventory control, warehouse logistics, AR, AP, and general ledger, but we can continue to add to this content as customers give us feedback and we push out new reports that our customers can then start to consume. But one thing to keep in mind, you are not limited to what you see here today. So if you do want to make adjustments to these dashboards that you're going to see, or make adjustments to the key performance indicators, or create your own dashboards or reports like you saw earlier, you can absolutely do so. But let's just drill into one of the functional areas to take a look at some of the pre-built key performance indicators and reports that you can take advantage of out of the box. So here we're on a sales analysis dashboard, and on the left-hand side, you can see we have different KPIs that you can leverage. So over to the left, we have things like profitability here. You might be wondering on how we calculate profit. Is it based on revenue minus cost of goods sold, or are we also taking under consideration things like discounts given or rebates earned? So the nice thing about our calculations is you can actually go out, see how we did the calculation, and if need be, go and make adjustments or create your own, like you saw earlier, custom expressions or calculations from scratch. Over to the right, you can see different reports that come standard. Obviously, this is my demo database. As a part of implementation, your data would be loaded into these reports, but you do have ability to go out and make adjustments to these as you see fit. You also still have those same types of filtering capabilities that you saw earlier. So if I want to highlight an area of a report and take a closer look at just these sales reps, now I can see this information as it pertains to those couple of reps. Or one of the things that you didn't see earlier is for me to have the ability to go out and filter this in a bunch of different ways. So basically, any field that you see within our core transactional system can be used as a filter against these dashboards. And these dashboards can have as many filters associated with them as you want. So I could look at this information by customer, by sales rep, by product line, by product category, by different location, by different time series, whether it's year, quarter, month, week, all the way down to the individual day if I want to see sales analysis for a particular day or range of days. So using these filters, I can just drive the way these different reports show up on my user screen. So here we have all these different collections, and within those collections, we have all these different dashboards that your users can take advantage of. Now, of course, there are securities that can get put in place here depending on who I am as the user, or maybe my role within the organization, based on what I have access to and what I don't have access to within the system. But if I want to go out and look at things like fill rate analysis, I can now go out to our fill rate analysis dashboard, see number of orders created in the year, our fill rate or on-time percentage, be able to see that by location or by individual customer. If I want to switch gears, maybe I want to look at some purchasing content. Now I can start to see purchasing analysis and ordered versus a received amount broken out by my different vendors. Or maybe I want to look at fill rate analysis on the vendor side of things. So what's our vendor's fill rate and their on-time percentage when working with us, and breaking that down by individual product line or getting as granular as individual product if need be. We can also look at transactional level detail here within these dashboards and reports. So here I can start to see purchase order detail by vendor, but maybe I want to look at this by vendor, by product line. And one of the nice things, if you notice that blue text there, We've talked about earlier things like drill through capabilities and drill mapping, but we also, because of the connectivity between this analytics platform and the core transactional system, and because they're both Infor applications, have the ability to create drillbacks into the core ERP. So with one click of a button, I'm now looking at that particular purchase order within the core transactional system and can take a look at the line item detail within the ERP instead of having to stare at it on a particular report. So quick and easy access to that detail right from the analytics platform because of that connectivity between analytics and the core transactional system. Or again, if I wanted to switch gears one more time, maybe I want to look at some of the AR related content. Now we're looking at things like invoice aging for the entire company or top customers with the largest balances. Or if I drill into some of this content, now I can start to see AR aging summary broken out for different aging periods and customers that have an open balance in one of those periods. But again, remember where this tool set really prides itself is that self-service component. So if I just want to see this information for a particular customer, I can come up to my filters here. I can maybe search by customer ID or customer name. If I want to type in a customer's name, here I can type it in. It'll go out, find any of the results. I select the one I want, and there's that customer's AR aging. And if I drill in, I can even start to see the transactional detail around any of those aging periods. Or maybe I want to look at a specific aging period. So again, use my filters, go to my aging buckets, tell the system to show me any open transactions or invoices in that 90+ aging period. There they are. If I need to get this to my customer, I could create a notification and email it directly from the dashboard. Or better yet, maybe set it on a bi-weekly schedule so that they're aware of what open invoices they have in our database that are sitting in that 90+ aging bucket. So there's tons of content out here that you can leverage. We barely scratched the surface, maybe visited 5 or 6 different dashboards out of the 80 that come pre-built. But this really gives our customers a great starting point to be able to leverage that content out of the box without having to go out and construct everything from scratch. With that said, let's stop here, and I'm going to transition now into our mobile capabilities that the Burst Analytics or Infor Analytics content provides out of the box as well. So here I am actually on my tablet, or could be mobile device, where I'm looking at the different mobile Infor applications that are available for download out in the App Store. And in the upper left-hand corner, you can see one of those applications is Infor Burst or Infor Analytics. So if I go into that, I actually have access to any of the reports or dashboards that I can either access or have created through a desktop version or my laptop. So quick and easy access to any of those metrics or reports that I might need while I'm out on the go. So a simple example is I could be a sales rep out in the field visiting customers face-to-face. Maybe I need to pull up customer 360 detail. So here I've searched for a customer on my tablet where I can start to see customer analysis detail, sales information around that customer's accounts in terms of sales year to date and profitability year to date versus last year and how we're trending over time. Over across the top, I can see things like top 20 products, so I can interact with these reports. Or, maybe I want to sort on these and see the products that this customer isn't buying from me year to date versus last year to date. So quick and easy access to that information. I can also see things like product category sales listed down below. So here I can see this customer historically buys a lot of voice control products from me, but where we actually get our largest margin from this customer is through heating and air control products. So easy visibility to see what products I might want to position when speaking to this customer to get a higher margin percentage and maybe make more commission. And as you saw earlier, those abilities to filter reports, you have those same capabilities right here from a mobile perspective, where if I want to look at our performance in this month of February and March, I could just simply highlight that area of the report and it'll filter the dashboard and all the information associated on my mobile device or tablet here to that time frame that I've put in place. So I have quick and easy access to any of those filters that might be associated even with the desktop version. And as we're starting to take a look at some of this, I can go out here, and one of the things the mobile app provides is the ability to annotate this information. So if I'm looking at detail and I want to share this with somebody, maybe I want to highlight information on the screen and I want to export that out, maybe push it to Outlook, to Gmail, push it to my mobile device, send it through a text message. I have the ability to do that, or even send it through the social collaboration tools of CloudSuite Distribution. So I even have that ability to share that detail while I'm out on the go. So with the Burst mobile tool set, you really have access to any of the reports or dashboards right at your fingertips, whether it's on your tablet or on your mobile device. When we talk about where the value is with Infor Analytics for CloudSuite Distribution, number one, it's fully integrated to the core ERP. So really, all the heavy lifting of setting up the data models and putting everything into an easy to read format has already been done for you. And because with CloudSuite Distribution, we're pushing out enhancements on a monthly basis, when new fields get added to the database, they'll also get added to that model so they can be reported against. Infor Analytics also makes it very easy to consume reports and provide more self-service for your users. So whether it's looking at a home page when I first start my day, or looking at a Burst dashboard, or even accessing a report on my mobile device, Burst gives me quick and easy access to consume information and manipulate the presentation layer using things like filters and drill throughs from wherever I might be. This tool set can also simplify the report creation process for businesses by giving users who may not have that reporting background a modern report creation platform that's able to slice and dice data and really create the content that's most important to them. And really the bottom line is that this application provides me with the tools that I need to be able to make better business decisions by having the right information when and where I need it.